All right, folks, we're back again here. Beautiful Smith Lake here in my kitchen studio, or I guess our kitchen studio. We're never going to finish that thing out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope in the next month or so.
It's going to have
when
to cool
things slow
off.
down, we're busy for the next 3-4 weekends.
I do air conditioning. It's 100 degrees, and there ain't no stopping. So right now is when you're making the hay for the wintertime. So, and for the spring when I can get out and go turkey hunt. Anyway, we're here tonight and got a couple boys in here. What is it? North Alabama Sportsmen?
Outdoor Sportsmen.
See, I done screwed that up, but you can straighten me up here in a minute. And we're gonna talk a little bit about what they do and
cool things. They're local.
That's right.
Y'all are about how far from here? 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10
minutes.
minutes.
10 minutes.
You know, I don't know. For some reason, I thought y'all was in Huntsville.
No.
But anyway.
About 3 minutes as the crow flies.
There you go. So you closer to me than you are to him.
Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Anyway, why don't we go ahead and, Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then
all right,
we'll move to your partner over there next door.
All right. Well, I'm Mike Wells. Own a plumbing business here in Coleman. Hunted all my life. Started when I was young. A lot of older mentors that took me. Not my father. My father was a plumber as well, so he worked all the time. So I don't have that family background on the hunting. Hunting, fishing, various things. Of course, then as I got a little bit older, started going after two-legged deer. Kind of got off the four-legged deer and stuff, and got married, had a family, having to push it, work hard, raising them kids, trying to raise them right. They got older and got more self-sufficient, take care of themselves, and so got back into the hunting. Of course, I moved from Birmingham, so I had to start learning or finding places to hunt and fish up here, public, what have you. Fortunately, a lot of customers I have offered to allow me to hunt on their property or fish on their ponds or what have you. And having a father-in-law that lives on Smith Lake, there was always access to go fishing. And then that pretty much brings us to where I am at this point in time.
I'm Chris Goodwin. I was born and raised just basically 3 miles back that way. We grew up in the woods before cell phones, and we didn't have the internet and stuff, and we was always with the kids out in the woods, and your parents would come home and they'd honk the horn and yell, "You all right?" They knew we was in the woods, and we'd yell back, "Yeah." And that's just the way we grew up. We was always in the woods and learning, and my dad didn't hunt, and my brother hunted, but he went hunting with other people. So I kind of learned by myself out in the woods what to look for, what to do. When I went hunting the first time, I was so young, you had to have a mentor, and they had to be 100 yards away from you, or you could get 100 yards away from them instead of sitting in a shooting house with them. So I was like, I'm going to go 100 yards up here. And that was before you could feed the deer. You could feed them through the summer. And we'd go out there, the guy had a hog in a pen, and he was hand-cranked corn, shell it in a bucket, and I carried it probably about a half a mile through the woods and had my little sight set up and this and that, and I put a little deer cane out with water and stuff out the creek and went down the creek with a bucket and got it back up there. And back then, it was just, if you seen a deer track, that was a big thing. We didn't have trail cameras and stuff, or if they was out at that time, we couldn't afford them. So it was a big thing to see a deer track. So I put a stand up, and I said, I'm going to sit here opening day, and I'm going to kill a deer, my first deer, And I did. But, we didn't have trail cameras and this and that. But
And just think he's that much younger than me. I mean, we barely had electricity. And he's over here talking
Yeah,
about,
I'm sitting there talking about.
I know. We didn't have none of that stuff. We didn't.
My parents didn't even honk. They didn't care if I was all right or not.
No.
They just knew we'd get hungry and come home.
Exactly.
Dad said years back it was a big thing to see a deer track. People come from miles around
yeah.
just to see a deer track. And nowadays they everywhere. But I started out hunting deer, killed a few here and there, and self-taught for the most part, and then got out of it, chasing two-legged deer, like you say. Got back into it, and then back in it was, you killed a deer, let's eat. Everybody's celebrating. We're throwing a hindquarter on the grill. We're throwing a back, we're cooking the whole thing probably tonight and eating it. And they gonna drink beer, and we're kids. We trying to get a beer, but now I got back into it, and they got cell cameras and they got scores, and you should have let that go, and this and that.
Worst thing ever happened deer hunting, in my opinion, is a tape measure.
Yes, sir.
Well, and that, along with some other things, was what brought about the inception of North Alabama Outdoor Sportsmen. Because one of our number one pet peeves that we will not allow in our groups is for you, me, anyone to bash somebody. We have so many members who actually come to our group because they didn't want to get on XYZ group because of that right there. Well, you should have waited another year, or you should have done this, or you should have done that. On our page, if it's legal, it's accepted.
That's right. It should be.
Just like, and that same way when I was a kid coming up, if you went out there and you killed a deer, we're all eating. Good job. I'm happy for you. But, now, just like Chris said, you got that. Or, like when I deer hunt, of course, I want to try to find that big, nice rack. I mean, be crazy to tell you I didn't. However, when I'm out there, I'm thinking about meat in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
That's my number one thing. A lot of people don't look at it. A lot of people are trophy hunters. And, I mean, there's good ones, and I know there's exceptions to the rules, but I've seen some of these trophy hunters that are miserable because they killed a big, nice one this year, and they can only focus on one bigger next year, and it seems like it takes the fun away from it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, just focusing on killing that trophy one, I had one. I was hunted up Carbon Hill several years. And I had one. It's 13 point. I know what he was. I seen him one time. But I hunted that deer. That was the deer. Every weekend. Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday. And I had my opportunity. I almost had my opportunity. But the deer got away from me. And I never saw him again. And it almost made me quit hunting. I was actually physically sick. And I said, you know what? If that's all this is going to be about, I'm not going to do it. So I've tried. I still got target buck here or there, but
Absolutely.
I am not going to get hung up so bad. I had one I've hunted. I first saw him when he was 2. I've hunted him 5 years. He got killed last year. Got killed in National Forest down in Dallas County. But I got private club land down there, but it was on the forest line. Ain't my deer.
Right.
The guy posted the picture of it. His daddy killed it. That's proud of it. Matter of fact, I made a comment to him. I said, I know that deer well. I've been seeing him for 5 years. I knew the holler he shot him in.
Right.
But I just am not going to get that hung up on a deer no more. Right. It just ain't that. If it's not fun, and I don't hate deer like I used to anyway.
You're not that mad at them?
No, but I still hate turkeys. I'm going to tell you, I hate every one of them. I will kill every one of them with a beard. As long as it's a male, I might even shoot a hen if it was legal, but I won't. I never have. There's some states you can do it. But, no, I hate turkeys. I hate them with a passion. I don't hate them enough to hunt them with a bow. I ain't never killed enough with a gun yet.
Well, that brings up a good point because there's a well-known podcast. They had a guy, they have listener success stories, and they had a bunch of listener success stories from that guy talking on the podcast about he hunts bucks and stuff, thermal hubs and whatnot, crow's foots. He quit hunting. Come to find out, I found out this year. He was always chasing the biggest, the next, and he got burnt out.
I can see it.
And he no longer deer hunts. And everybody was trying to get him back on a podcast, and they said he quit.
Yeah, well, I can see it. I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't hunt anymore. I went over there one or two more days after that. That deer got killed. The big one in Carbon Hill got killed, but it didn't get killed that year. But that deer, once it got out of there, he never came back again the rest of that season. And I just quit hunting.
Right.
And I mean, that was into my season. And I just said, I'm not going, if that's the way it's going to be, you know, I won't do it no more.
You got to enjoy it.
That's what it's all about. I mean, it's enjoyable. And if you hunt to fill your freezer up.
Exactly.
And that's what I do. Mm-hmm. I don't need near as many as I used to. Now all my kids are grown.
Right,
and,
exactly.
You know, but,
well, yeah. And it don't matter, you know, you can be very skilled. You can have the best equipment. You can have the best everything. But the good Lord and luck plays into a lot of it. I don't care. You know, you may have 100 pictures of this deer, but you got to be the right conditions, right time, right place.
That's right.
I mean, that's
I'd rather be luckier and good any day. Because yes, you got to be. You may know where he's coming and what he's doing, but you got to be there when he's doing it.
Exactly. You know, that's just like the controversy with cameras, whether it's in the deer or it's the turkey and all that. You know, y'all are big turkey hunters. What's your opinion about the cameras not being able to have them out during the hunting season or what have you?
Are you talking about for deer and turkey both or whatever?
Well,
I mean,
for turkey.
I mean,
I hunted without them. I'll be honest with you. I actually just see. I think 2 seasons is all I've ran trail cameras. I mean, because it's so vocal. I mean,
yeah,
well, and that's what we were talking about.
But I'll be honest now. Now, I've been running trail cameras. I started building them. I credit me and this group a bunch. We used to do when they first come out with, well, there's 35 millimeter back then, but you still couldn't afford them. But we were tearing down floodlights and taking out the sensors out of them and making cameras. So I've been running cameras for a long time. But I'd never really focused on turkeys until, I don't know, 6-7 years ago.
Right.
And I've killed one turkey. Well, I know where they're at.
Right.
But I killed one turkey because I knew the cell camera. That turkey walked by the cell camera. It was May 6th, 3 years ago. It's 6 o'clock. He walked by my camera. I wasn't even planning to go hunt over there. Mm-hmm. And I said, it's 6 o'clock. He's roosted pretty close. And I went in there the next morning and called him and killed him. Now, that's the only true advantage. Now, I put some in my uncle's house. It's a small place anyway, so you ain't got but 100 acres. Mm-hmm. You cover that in the morning if, you know, they didn't come through anyway. So.
Well, I think they're a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool, but
it's not shooting them for you.
It's not shooting them for you. It's not, you know, just like you're not going to call in a deer hardly. You know what I'm saying? You might get that grunt and get them.
He'll probably come
down. Well, look.
He'll probably come down.
It's the same thing with deer blinds.
Yes.
Or turkey blinds, especially turkey blinds. Well, you want to hear them get, you know, and I run Alabama Turkey Hunters, and there's 20,000 people on there. And trust me, I kick off a lot of them, several hundred a year, because I don't put up crap.
Right.
But they'll dog a guy for getting in a blind. Me and him's got these little deception blinds. They're made by Alps. Coolest little blind ever used. But they'll dog people for hunting out of a blind, a full blind, but they'll put up a big old blind in front of them or one of those ghost blind around them. Same difference.
Exactly.
What state was that I was talking about? I was looking at the rules when I found that 49 and
the Hunt 49?
Yeah. And in that state, you can hunt out of a bought blind, but you cannot like pile.
You can't make a natural blind.
You can't make a natural blind.
Which is crazy.
That's right opposite.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but I don't remember what state that was.
You know, same way, archery hunting deer, whatever, you know, those compound bows, they're, you know, you have this and that and all this different stuff. And hey,
to each their
I'm like old Cuz Strickland. If you want to get down to it, how'd you get down here? Well, I flew. What do you mean you flew? You know, you should have walked or rode a horse. You know, where's the stick and string?
Yeah,
you know, you shoot
a loincloth with a spear.
Yeah, you know.
You know, we hear that a lot.
There's just not room in our sport. We should be all together. I mean,
exactly.
I like mossy oak. Apparently, you do. He does. You do.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna fault a man. I mean, he may, you know, made a poor choice wearing Realtree.
You know, it happens.
I mean, I've got Realtree down there in the closet.
Oh,
But I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I wear a lot of flannel.
But you know what? I got a friend owns a plumbing house, and a guy brought in a bunch of hats. And he graduated Mississippi State. There was Realtree hats. When the guy walked out the door, he threw them all in the dumpster. He said, "I ain't having that in my building," because you know, Realtree is a Ole Miss. They kind of back Ole Miss and that kind of thing. I said, that's pretty petty, but, you know, some
Like
people
you
are that
said,
way.
We should all sit together, and that's kind of what the page, like, people deer hunt, and then after deer season, you don't hear from them. Well, they could be turkey hunting or fishing. Well, if you're out there deer hunting, you could learn something about the turkeys. Or you're out there turkey hunting, you could learn something.
Hey, trust me,
You can do a lot of good scouting turkey hunting.
So on and
Yes,
so forth. It all builds up, you know, and squirrel
Or
hunting.
squirrel hunting.
As long as you're out there, everything adds together. And why is there just separate groups per category? Why ain't there just one that puts it all together and says, "Come on, guys," you know?
Well, and this, you know, that's just like we were talking before we started. We want to get people out there that, you know, say for instance they're deer hunters and they're like, well, I really wanted to try turkey hunting. You know, I can now. Of course, you got podcasts and videos and stuff.
It's a whole different world now than when
But
we grew
you know,
up.
they might be old and decrepit like me, and they're just like, you know, don't really understand that. But through people's experiences and like on our page or so forth, they can start learning, kind of seeing things, so forth. They might get them more interested. And of course, like my big thing, like I told you, is I really push for people to try to get the youth out there, get them off the couch, get them off their phones, their Xboxes and all that, get them out in the outdoors. I mean, it don't have to be a hunting, it don't have to be fishing, take them hiking or something, but get them out in the outdoors. And for these kids that, you know, may have troubles with that, there needs to be more adults to mentor them. Just like this year, we're going to kick off to where we're going to take nominations and all to take, you know, a single parent child or a foster child on a hunt this year. You know, they might not be in a situation where they have anybody in their family or anything that can take them or knows anything about it, or maybe not even are financially able. But we're going to do that. And we hope that by doing this and promoting it with our page and our YouTube channel and stuff like that, that more and more people will try to do that. Because it's becoming a lost art. There's a lot of things that I did as a kid that's become a lost art in the past 20 years.
A child's time today is their schedule's so packed.
Right.
I mean, between school, now, you know, baseball, it's not just
Year-round
spring. Yeah, it's all
sports,
year round. It's spring ball, it's travel ball, it's fall ball, it's football season, it's basketball season. You know, they don't hardly have a time to do it. Now, when I brought my kids up, they didn't even know you're supposed to go to the beach during spring break. They thought it was time that week. That was their week at the hunting club chasing turkeys with me.
Right.
You know, so, yeah. And same way with, and I use that. I use that to my advantage. Now, both my boys played baseball and that kind of stuff, but we didn't play all-stars and that stuff. I said, yeah, you can. We ain't going to the beach because we'll be out there sweating, you know, in that diamond. So, that's how we did it.
Right.
Of course, I grew up. Hell, I was in the woods. We didn't have. My mom didn't have her driver's license till I had mine. I mean, so there wasn't no taking Anthony to any kind of ball practice. And besides, I was working.
Right.
So I was lucky. I had a daddy that brought me up. You know, we didn't have deer or turkeys, either one. Now they're all around his house now, but he was a big rabbit hunter, squirrel hunter, crappie fisherman, and he was probably better than me about taking me hunting and fishing than I took my own kids a lot of times. He'd just come in there while I was eating breakfast early in the morning and go, "You ain't going to school today with them. Just hang back." And me and him get in the aluminum boat and go Gunnersville crappie fish or go squirrel hunting, you know, or whatever. He was good about that. So, but the kids nowadays, especially, I'd say the generation after my kids, my oldest one's 32. And my youngest boy's 29, so He'll be 30. He might, yeah, something like that. That's bad. I don't keep up with their ages, but they're old enough. They know how old they are.
Well, that's like my 22-year-old daughter. You know, her first deer was a smaller doe. You know, and it's actually posted on our group, and of course on my own personal social media and stuff. And you ought to have seen the responses, how small that deer was. And my thing is, to her that day, that was the biggest deer on the earth.
Yeah.
Because it was her first one. It was the excitement and all that.
It was like a 180.
I would have used to say, as long as they don't have spots, but here in Alabama, you can shoot them with spots now. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it, but I mean, being the fishing game had words about that. I don't like it, you know, but it's legal. I'm not gonna. You post a picture of your spotted fawn you killed. I'm not gonna say nothing but congratulations. I bet it's tender.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, so.
Well, I grew up dog hunting, and so it wasn't boring for a kid. You know, I mean, the dogs was running. I mean, it was exciting.
That's how I got into it, was dog hunting.
And so I've had to bring my kids.
You weren't picky about deer when you was dog hunting. I mean,
ain't much time to be picky.
Well, no, I mean, you just prayed it had horns when it come by, because we didn't have a week of doe days or whatever back then. And everybody was thrilled when one was killed, and everybody shared it.
Yes, exactly.
Did a big one come behind the dog? I always heard that.
Yeah, the drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Them
The
drivers
driver
knew.
killed
That's
more
why they always wanted to drive. They knew the big ones would try to slip out behind.
That's why I always own my own pack of dogs.
So you was a driver.
You know, we was talking about the cameras, and I think Chris will agree with. We've seen these deer on these cameras, but they'd be like miles away. It's like where we would kill them at. It's like they went behind the camera. That's why I said it was a tool.
Well,
but it's not a guarantee.
I had a buddy. Well, I say a buddy. He's still my buddy. I've known him since his Ford works for me. We've hunted together for 20-something years now. And he had a camera out. And he didn't hunt spot. He never got no deer pictures, or no buck pictures or nothing. So he's hunting somewhere else, and somebody went in there and killed a nice buck. I just can't believe it. I said, well, they don't always walk in front of your camera.
No.
Facing the wrong way.
They go in their own way. I mean, you know, just because you got that camera don't mean you're going to see the bucks. I mean, personally, I love it. I like to. It gives me hope. Well, you know, I know something's there. It just don't mean they come.
When you get our age and there's not a whole lot going on, those pictures sometimes are a lot of fun to get, and you're kind of excited. It gives you something to be excited about.
What'd I show you when you didn't even walk in here good? And I'm showing you my picture of all my poults.
Yeah, my buddy Jamie, he sent me a picture of 3 hens this evening and a.
Is that over here at the same?
Well, yeah.
Where you sent me the hen picture the other day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, I mean, it's every day. It's been the last 2 or 3 days, and I was like, it's pretty exciting because he did some trapping and stuff to try to help us with our turkeys, because we hold a few hens. They raise a lot, like, because we've got the perfect habitat for it. But when it gets season, even if there's a couple of gobblers there, they're gone. They just disappear.
Right.
They're there all summer. They're there during deer season. I had deer out in front last year, but I'm sitting there videoing the hens in front of him and sending them to Anthony because, well, that's just me. But
that's like me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm drinking coffee and I'm looking at cam pictures and I'm texting them to Chris and sending him pictures.
On that couch going through my pictures.
Text me at 5
Matter of fact, I turned off my camera notifications because I'd hear it at night or something, and I'd have to look. So I turned it off. And it's actually more fun now because I'll forget about it, especially be busy at work or whatever, or here. And then I'll go click on it, just like I didn't even know the hens with all those poults was on there until right before you got here.
right.
Because I went, damn it, I didn't even get to download the video yet. I hadn't took another picture since then.
Well, I had to turn the notifications off because, like I said, the cameras we got out and the notifications, my wife is asking me at 12 o'clock at night, who is texting you?
Right.
Yeah,
And I'm like, hey, it's a deer. I swear,
Yeah.
4-legged. It's deer. You know,
They got cell phones now?
they got cell phones. So,
And I like the cell phones. I wasn't sure, but man, it's like crack. Once you get it and you don't have to drive out there no more. Now, I enjoy, don't get me wrong, I would put it out and you waited that whole week. And I'm old. I thought maybe, I don't know, how old are you, Mike?
51.
See, I'm still the damn oldest one in here. I'm 59, so when I was building these 35 millimeter cameras, not only did you have to wait, generally you waited till the roll was full. So you'd buy 12, 16. You hated them 24 ones. But then you had to get it,
developed.
drive to Walmart. Sometime back when it first started, it was 24 hours. So you had to go back the next day. Then it got to the 1 hour, and we got to be real good friends with the 1 hour developing woman. She saw us every Saturday at lunchtime at the Walmart in Selma. And she'd say, hang around, I'm going to put y'all to the front of the line. So you had all that anticipation waiting. And, of course, then you go through it, and you had 20 nothings and maybe a butt or, whatever. But then you got the digital ones. You could just look at them right there, carry your little reader or whatever, or look at them on your camera. And now, though,
And
I've tried.
What year was that? Like,
Oh, this was in the 90s.
okay.
Let's see.
I'm
I got
curious.
in that club. Well, let me take that back. It wasn't in the 90s. I got in that club down there in 98. And I've been there ever since. And I would say, early mid, it was before, I'd say 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
But you was putting your own camera together.
Oh, yeah, I was building. I've still got a bunch of them. I don't
Now-
use them anymore.
Could you kind of explain that for somebody that's 35 years old? Because I don't understand.
How they were made?
Yeah. But have you ever talked about that?
No, not really.
you
No,
care
I mean
to?
there was a forum. We didn't have Facebook or none of that kind of stuff. So you was still
Yes,
it
sir.
was just step ahead of the bulletin board days and
I
computers. Remember
that.
the bulletin
I
boards?
remember the bulletin boards.
All right. So now we're actually in the internet. So there was groups, and there was God, I'm trying to remember the name of the group now. Heck, I was administrator on it for a little while, helped out. But anyway, they had decided because a regular 35 millimeter camera was still $300-400 back then. Well, yeah, $300 or $400, but
Yeah.
people would put their heads together, and we'd found out you could buy this 135 millimeter camera called a PF Owl. I don't know who it was made by now. I can look because I've still got one somewhere at the hunting club. And they were smarter people than me, come out and figured out how to take the infrared motion sensor out of a certain model floodlight and which wires to cut and which ones to do and how to tie it into that camera to trigger the camera.
That's cool.
And the camera sit in there with just the batteries and the flash. It would automatically wind. And yeah, I mean, shoot, I was making them. I had 3 or 4 of them. Made them from my old hunting partner and the boy Philip I was telling you about. And
What kept them dry? I mean, did you?
we put them in these boxes.
Okay.
Yeah. I made a video camera. I had a video camera we made. You'd have to take the IR lens out. I mean, once we figured that out, as time went on, somebody's figured out you can take the IR lens out. All cameras have IR filter lenses in them. If you get in there and take that out, and you have to refocus the lens. But then you could put a piece of infrared glass over your flash, and you wouldn't have a flash at night because flashes do spook deer some. Sometimes some don't spook, but a lot of them do. Now, they still could see that red glow because they weren't black flash cameras like some of them are now. But we were doing that, and I have one. Matter of fact, I've got it on my old YouTube page, my personal one. That you'll see a video of some deer. They're pink at night. That lens was out, but they look more pinkish. It was a pinkish color to it, but hell, nobody else had them back then.
Because the lens is out.
Mm-hmm. And we learned about flash bleed. Moultrie got a real bad rap. Their first cameras was in a little weird-looking flat box with a top that snapped down on them. And the lens, it was a regular 35 millimeter camera, but it wasn't the PFL. But the glass for the lens and the flash were one piece of glass.
Okay.
And when that flash would go off, it bled through the glass. Nobody knew that at the time. And you'd just get foggy pictures at night. It would just be terrible. And I don't know how many, when they used to be down there in Alabaster, they knew me by name. I don't know how many I carried back to them down there before we started. That was the first store-bought one I ever had.
That's very
And
interesting.
then we figured out If it was divided by something solid, it couldn't bleed through there and get in front of that lens somehow or another. But somebody figured it out. I probably smarter than me. But yeah, we had
the night pictures.
I'll next time I'm down. Well, I may go down this. I may have to go down Sunday or Monday now, since some folks are out there and put me out something for them to eat. But I'll try to dig one of them old cameras. I'll give it to you if you want.
I feel like he's the Eric Snowden of trail cameras.
Bring. We definitely want you to bring one back, because I'd like to put one in the studio when we get it done. It'd be cool.
That would be
a conversation piece.
Yeah.
So,
But the very first one, before I got into it, the very first trail camera. Now I got pictures of them somewhere. They were triggered by a string
I've seen
and a mouse trap. The string would pop the mouse trap, and it would slap down on the camera and take the picture, on the button.
Right.
Motion.
Only one picture. That's all you got. Because before that, they were called trail timers.
Yep.
If you go back and then you just put a string across a trail, and it only broke one time because it only had a string, but you knew something walked by. And of course now I can sit right here like at my phone, and go, oh, look at there. There's a 12 point out in front of me.
Right.
And, for all we
run
knew,
down
it was
there
a
and kill
dang rabbit hopped through there and, or a raccoon walked through. Of course, we didn't have hogs down there at that time.
Or one of them 30-point bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Sasquatch.
Or crackhead
Sam,
trespassing.
what they call it on Trailer Park Boys, old Sam Squatch.
Yeah.
Old Sam Squatch.
Or your best friend messing with you, going by there, popping them
Oh,
strings.
let
making
me tell
think
you
there's
what
something there.
now.
Dustin
My-
got the mount.
My old hunting partner, we used to devil each other. He died on me a few years ago, but I knew where his I built the camera for him, and I knew where he had it at. And I walked down there, and I'll just be honest with you, I jerked my britches down, and I bent right over in it until that thing flashed, and I could not wait till them pictures got developed. So I had to wait, And we're in Walmart in Selma, and he's digging through his pictures. He's just thumbing through them like you do in cards. Nothing. Oh, yeah, okay, nothing. And then he goes, he just kind of stops, and he's, what the hell is that? What do you think that is? I said, I know what it is. What? What is it? I said, come in the bathroom. I'll show you. What? I said, that's my butt crack right there. I was so close, you couldn't see me. All you could see was a piece of cheeks and a little crack down. Oh, it was It was funny. So I wish I still had that picture. He may have just tore it up and threw it away right there. But yeah, we did all kinds of stuff. We might take an antler and kind of try to stick out in front. We never carried no mount. Now, them old boys down there did put a mount on a tree. One time they was screwing with one of the younger guys. And they went out there night in front of where his stand was and put a deer mount on the tree where it looked like his head was sticking out from that tree. That boy took a neck shot. He saw that deer when it got daylight. That deer was standing there kind of looking at him. He shot it.
We were kids. We'd take those archery targets, the 3D archery targets, and put them halfway down in the ditch and just get back in the pasture and see how many people would stop. We had several of them shot because, night hunters, they just, they're not looking for a doe, but they shooting meat,
Yeah.
And we used to play with that some. That was always fun to do.
These young guys today, they don't know, they've got it all at their fingertips. For what you're doing, once you get that light bulb turned on their head, all they got to do now is hit YouTube. And they can be anything they got a question for about hunting. They can find, it might not be the right answer, but they're going to get an answer. Just like turkey hunting. My dad never deer hunted or turkey hunted. There wasn't none. He small game hunted rabbit and squirrel and that kind of stuff. So I didn't have nobody. Me and my brother, we just went out. And I've told this story before on here. I started turkey hunting for one sole reason. I didn't think you needed to get up before daylight. I thought you could just go on out there, and you can, but it's better to get out there and you get to hear them gobble and stuff. But I bet the first year or two, we didn't even get in the woods before 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Because I didn't think you had to get up early. And now
you
get up earlier.
Should be back prepping the turkey.
I never would have thought that, when we're rolling through a hailstorm in Nebraska trying to get to our parking spot before daylight, getting up at 3 in the morning 4 in the morning, I get up because I like to get up, and I can't. I used to in my youth get up and just throw on my britches and run to work. I like to get up now, have a cup of coffee, watch the weather, the news, because my boys at work. If I get to work, it's going to rain today. I'm going, no, it's not, or the rain ain't going to be here till 2:00. So I get up, I drink coffee, I check my stuff on my phone. He's still over there snoring in his bed. Well, he don't snore no more now that he's got his CPAP machine. And then then finally, after the alarm goes off 3 times, you getting up? Yeah. And I turn around, and he's got his clothes on. He's at the truck waiting on me. I'm the last one out.
I'll tell you a funny story. We all had a hunting club right there behind the church we just met at. And we had it was a shooting house, and they had a metal ladder stand built for this guy. He's a lawyer, and he lives in Haleville right now, chicken house. He weighed 450 pounds, big old guy. So he reinforced it to where him and his son could hunt. Opening day, rifle season, everybody's hunting. Everybody went hunting. I'd seen 2 does, but I couldn't get a good shot. Well, I'll come back to there's a barn, the clubhouse, and everybody's, man, we didn't get nothing, this and that. And like I said, it's about getting a deer. And I asked where everybody went. I had 2 places in mind that day where I'd went. I said, anybody go over here? And they said, no. This is 10, 11 o'clock. I said, I'm going to go over here for a minute. And they're all relaxing. They're going to go to the afternoon hunt. Take my dad's truck. I'm like 12, 13 years old. And I go up in there and park, get out, and I walk through a pine ticket. And I'm walking through there. There's a doe laying there looking at me. Bam, I pop it right in my mouth. It busts the bottom jaw to where it's dropping down. It explodes in the skull. Just a few drops out the mouth. I loaded up by myself. We get my dad's 5-speed Toyota, pull up in the pine ticket, throw it on the back, drag it up, Take it back, and they said, we heard you shoot. What'd you get? And I could have had a 12-point buck on the camera. I had a little doe. They was all happy. They all went out there and put their time in the woods. Now we got this little doe, and we're putting it on the grill. And that 450-pound dude, he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to cook it like this, and we're going to do this. And, it wasn't about the
It wasn't about the horns. It wasn't about how many.
No, sir.
Well, you know what? Even when it was, I killed a 6-point. That was, I killed an 8-point.
And they always
that was
called
enough.
It a 6-point or 8-point. They didn't say
They
it was a 6-point
yeah.
that measured 147.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean,
he was 4.5
that's what I'm
years
telling you.
old.
When that tape measure come out, everything changed. Because I mean,
yeah,
you're just proud. If it was a basket 6 or 8,
yeah.
nobody cared. You just killed an 8-point.
Mm-hmm.
It was an 8-point.
And you just counting everything.
yeah.
Oh, if a ring to hang out on that
if a
thing.
ring-
Back in, if you just hung a ring on there,
Oh, yeah.
it counted. Now it's got to be an inch. So
And when I first started hunting the dog clubs, I think I was 18. Right. Well, let's see. I'd been hunting a little bit up in Nectar, over in Blount County, with some lifelong family friends. But the first deer club I got in, the same people, but it was off down in Tuscaloosa. But they would. You miss that deer, by God, your shirt tail's getting cut off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they cut your shirt tail off. I didn't know none of that.
yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'd never been part of a deer club.
they don't do that now.
And I'm gonna tell you,
I'd hate for him to cut this new stuff for what it costs.
I'd have to shoot one of them.
Yeah, maybe rolling around
I'll
on the
tell you,
ground.
I had this. It was one of the first ones, a golden eagle bow. It had 60 or 65% let off. I paid $400 for that bow. And I was down there bow hunting, and some guy come down, and he wasn't a bow hunter. I think he was just going to come scout or whatever he was doing. We dog hunted, but you dog hunted in the mornings, you still hunted in the evenings, or you hunted your dogs in the evenings,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's usually what I do.
But anyway, he looked at that bow and he said, "How much that bow cost?" I said, "It was $400." Now that was rigged out. Now that's nothing today,
Right.
But he looked at me and he said, "Are you a damn idiot?" He said, "You realize what kind of good rifle you could buy for $400, and you buying a stupid bow?" And I'm going, this thing's is within that 20, 30 yards. It's as good as a rifle.
And get to hunt earlier.
And it was a killer. I killed a bunch of deer with that thing. Wish I still had it today. But they just don't. And now what, a naked, halfway decent bow's $1,000. I mean,
I mean,
and it's naked. Hey, you ain't even started talking about rest.
Well, the $400 you spent on that's what, a good set of sights and a drop rest and all that cost you.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, and I tell you something else that surprised me: some of them higher end crossbows, $3-4 grand.
Oh yeah, now yeah.
So I mean, that's
we've got Ravens.
Yeah, but I didn't pay no $4,000.
No, I didn't pay that much for it.
Now, if you'd have bought that 500 feet per second one, I think you'd have been in that $2,500, $3,000 range. But my buddy was selling them. He sells everything he likes, so he'll go get it. If he wants one, he becomes a distributor for a little while. He gets enough so he can get him one, and then he sells the rest of them. Then he might never sell them again. That's what I'm going to tell you. He's back into deer feeders again. So if you want a deer feeder, probably get a good deal on deer feeder.
And that's the thing, people putting people down because they use a crossbow. When it first started out, you had to be handicapped to use a crossbow. And then it come out, you could use a crossbow. Heck, I'm double jointed. I shot a bow and it slapped me right there.
You couldn't get enough brace on yours to not.
And then I had shoulder surgery. Got 5 screws. Not saying I couldn't shoot a bow, but I got a crossbow. I don't have a bow, so I'm going to use a crossbow. What does it matter?
It don't matter.
It don't.
I just don't pay
It's the same. It's just like it's the same people that'll dog you for how small your deer is will dog you because you use a crossbow because they like to shoot a bow. But they'll be shooting that $1,000 bow with 95% let off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And dog
300 feet per second.
Yeah. I mean, don't
not a long bow.
Go out there and find you a piece of hickory and whittle your bow out, and then I might not say nothing if you criticize a man, but
Well, that's another aspect of our page because we have a little bit better financial because we own our own businesses and stuff like that. We actually go to some of these shows and purchase equipment, not at a discount. Nothing's give to us. We go try it. And then we give you our honest opinion. You'll see some of that coming up in some of our YouTube videos here soon.
Well, we was just talking. You was just at the mobile.
We was at the Mobile Hunting Expo in Dalton, Georgia. We bought some things that, like I said, we're going to try out. And then whether we like it or not, we're going to do a giveaway off our page and give it.
Well, if you don't like it, I don't know if I want it.
Well,
no, I'm just messing with you.
But, the thing about it is, at least we're just average people. We don't have the YouTube or the Facebook or anything to make a single penny. I don't need it. We do it as a passion, as to help people, as to bring people together. That's just like, our merchandise is fixing to kick off. Any profit made off of that goes to like sponsor that child hunt or to do other things. People that know me know I'm real big in pushing for the state and all to do more with bobwhite quail. I actually raise bobwhite quail. It's a learning curve for me, but I'd like to see more done.
I would too. I just don't know if it'll ever happen.
When I was growing
not
up,
in this state, not the way the land is nowadays.
Well, that's a problem. But like when I was a kid, a lot of people done all kind of predator hunting. People were going coon hunting. They were doing this. They were doing that. You don't hardly hear that no more. So that's got to be a factor as well into it. But if we can spend money to improve the deer and the turkey and everything else.
But you understand where the money's at.
That's where the money, yeah.
The deer.
Well,
deer more than turkeys.
Yeah.
Turkeys getting a good, they're getting a little bit of attention now because of the so-called decline. I'm not all bought into this is not a normal cylindrical thing that goes. I heard a great guy in Mississippi talk about that. The matter of fact, he worked for the state. He's a state game biologist. He basically believes, and I've almost bought into it, that we hadn't had turkeys. Not to get off your Bob White, we'll get back to them. But one of these rabbit holes I told you I'd get on.
That's fine.
These turkeys, we haven't had them long enough since restocking to see an actual true, I wouldn't say lifespan, generational run of them. You know, we didn't finish stocking until the 90s.
Right.
And he compared them, I believe it was some kind of grouse or something.
Yeah,
They're rare, close kin, and they go through this. There'll be a huge population of them, and then for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years, all of a sudden they're going down, and then poof, they're coming back. And I honestly believe they're coming back right now. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing. Now, we got more social media and people's looking, but I mean, I see poults driving down the road. Now I'm looking for them and that kind of thing, but I think it's more of that than anything else. I don't think there's no disease. Now there could be things like the Roundup Ready stuff and all that coated seed could be doing some damage. I know just like with your quail, these agriculture fields now, there's nothing in them for a bird to eat. There's no insects. Everything's dead. They've killed everything.
Right.
And then put on top of it, maybe that seed they're eating could hurt them. Now there's some toxicity stuff coming out. I listened to it's called the Turkey Science podcast. It's a guy from Auburn and a guy from Gainesville, Florida.
It's fertilized and stuff.
They've sent off all these carcasses and they're getting all this stuff back. So there's a whole bunch of stuff coming in. They're finding some toxicity in it, but they're coming around too, that habitat and it may be just a normal life cycle or whatever with the turkeys. Now, quail, I think it's a bad loss of habitat. We don't have the fence rows we used to have. Fire ants, I truly believe fire ants are a big problem with any ground nesting bird. Because if you dove hunt, you know you can't even, you shoot a dove, if it takes you 5 minutes to get that dove, there's ants on it when you pick him up.
Yep.
So I believe that. But I did notice down where I hunt, there'd always be maybe a cubby of quail. You might hear bob white every now and then. Well, that land sold, and the guy that bought it or the company that bought it, they clear cut that whole 3,000 acres. There's at least 5 or 6 covey of quail down there right now. We're in our 6-year growth. It's good and thick. They can hide. They got places to nest. I think it's helped them. Mm-hmm. So now it'll go away. I say it'll go away because just by the time trees get big enough for turkeys to come back, they cut them again. So it may help the quail on that piece of property.
As far like you sell a deer hunting license, it comes with small game and so on and so forth. So that covers quail, so they're not making no extra money.
No, well, same way with turkeys. Quail. I mean, they honestly don't know how many quail hunters there is right now. They don't know how many turkey hunters we have.
Right, exactly. And see, that's
the problem.
Where I push more. If people know me, they know I push more. I've talked to one of the state veterinarians and stuff, trying to see what I need to do, what we can do, what can we push, because I'm a big sponsor. I'm not a big turkey hunter, but I'm a big NWTF guy. I mean, I put, promote, deer-wise, habitat-wise, yeah, we can do more. But, it takes the masses.
That's right.
All right? So just like our group, our Facebook group, it started off and just skyrocketed. Now, like I said, not everybody on there is a deer hunter. Not everybody's on there is a turkey hunter. But there's a lot of people, even though they don't have that interest in there, would support a movement to try to make habitats better, more emphasis put on there. It's got to be the numbers. And so, or ideas. There's ideas there. I'll tell you one idea that I would love to do to help with Bankhead Forest. I think if we could get sponsors and put a dollar amount on it, because that's just the way things are, and have a day where you come in, your family, whatever, and you pick up trash. And whoever picks up the most trash in a certain amount of time is your first place winner. If we could get the counties to agree to to take the trash and the sand.
Well, yeah, just like when they clean up the rivers or the lake.
Right. There's a big little hunting group. It's got a podcast and all that. They do that every year up in their area, up north or Midwest. And that's a great idea. I'd like to see that here. All right. Because, what's it going to take to get people really more conscious about our forest and all. Well, first of all, you're going to have to give them an incentive to do something. That's just, unfortunately, while a lot of people would be doing it for a better hunt experience, better forest, what have you, if you give them some initiative to get out and do it, you'd see more about it. You'd see less garbage and all in our woods because people that actually
Now
have
we
to do
stop. We pick up where we park.
we
We
bring out
clean
trash
up.
all
We
the
keep trash bags in the truck.
Right.
We have to clean up behind all. And they may not be hunters. It could be just some good old boys out there drinking that night, or somebody parked with a girlfriend somewhere. I mean, you just never know because you do find some strange stuff when you're picking up trash.
Yes, we
didn't pick up no rubbers, but we was picking up some other stuff.
Well, we had I'll tell you a funny story, and I'll get back to another point I was going to make. Back before game cameras, and I wish we'd had them, we had a place, one road where, down at our club, where that's where you went and dumped your deer guts and the carcasses. But it was a little pine thicket, and we never had a cable up on it because you just run out there. It was right by the camp. But apparently, it had become the favorite parking place of somebody because me and my buddy, during turkey season, we walk in the roads looking for tracks and everything else. Well, we got to finding all kinds of paraphernalia, and you knew right where they parked because you could see how it got dropped out of the truck. Mm-hmm. This went on for all turkey season, and one weekend we was down there because that's when turkey season come in the middle of March, so we had all the way to the end of April. But right around the end of April, we was walking out through there. We was going to see if they'd been back because they always left their colored paraphernalia, maybe a little toilet paper, whatever, pair of drawers, Well, this time there was a pregnancy test kit laying there. And you know what? Never seen nothing ever after that weekend. There was never no more toilet paper, no condoms, no nothing. I said, I bet there was a plus on that thing.
Maybe everything worked out for him.
I hope it worked out for him. Like to meet the child because just to see, hey, where that happened.
You were conceived right at this
But
spot.
you're talking about like funding and this kind of stuff and help things. I'm of the mindset I want to see anyone that uses not the national forest. That's a whole different thing. But wildlife management areas. If I'm a hunter and I got to pay my license, if you're a bicycle rider or a bird watcher, I think you need to buy a management area license. You shouldn't be allowed out there.
Absolutely.
You're using them roads and you're enjoying the wildlife and the scenery just like I am. I may be trying to take game, but I think everybody that accesses a wildlife management area should buy a wildlife and it should be required. If you're on your mountain bike, and I have no problems with them, don't get me wrong. I got two up there I used to ride back before I was afraid I'd wreck and never heal. But you're using that land, and you should be paying a fee just like I'm paying a fee to use it. I think management areas should be open, especially ones with hogs. Them gates ought to be open for me. If hogs are that bad on them, I should be able to go in there in the middle of the summer and go kill me a hog if I want to kill a hog on a management area. Lowndes County's full of them. That management area's full of them, but you can't hunt them except during hunting season.
Well,
or a special called season, just like they have up here.
But that's just, in my opinion, now that's solely my opinion, but that's just like the bait license. All right? Other than just a little bit of revenue generation, that's all that's good for, because what's the difference? He didn't pay for his bait license, and he can't kill over bait, but I did, so it's okay. That, to me, that's, why don't you just sit there and go up on the license?
It's not.
Yeah, just kind of included in that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, here's the reason. It's money again. Mm-hmm. If your 5-year-old is sitting with you in that shooting house, he's got to have a baiting license. If you got bait out, or you're getting a ticket.
Right.
I buy one for Grace
I think
every
is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I think if a child isn't required to have a hunting license, he shouldn't have to have a bait license.
Agreed.
But it's a money maker. Mm-hmm. And I understand we don't get money from the general fund. Everything for wildlife comes from hunting licenses and management area licenses and that kind of thing. That's why I think if you're going to ride your mountain bike or go bird watch or whatever you're doing, or just enjoy the day out there, you don't need a hunting license. I'm not saying buy a hunting license. You should be required to have a management area license, and you should be required to check in just like we check in when we go squirrel hunt or deer hunt.
Right.
Then they know how many people's using it.
And who's in there in case somebody gets lost.
Well, I mean, who says the bird watcher hadn't hiked in 5 miles and a fire got started? You don't even know they're in there.
If it's during season, they might need some orange on.
I was amazed. I went on a hog hunt up here. They put on at the management area up here, and it was full of hikers and bird watchers. Nobody wearing orange. If it's gun season, firearm season, any season requiring orange.
44 cubic.
I don't care if you're riding a bicycle or if you're going down there to look at the giant poplar tree.
Why not?
You should be wearing your orange on that land.
I mean, you go to that waterfall.
But you got to understand, just like what you're talking about. Most of these people, they've never hunted. Now I'm assuming, but I'm saying the bird watcher guy or the family that wants to come see the waterfall, they may have never hunted, so they don't even know they should have orange on, that they could be picked off. Because I'm sitting on a rock bluff, and I think I do see movement. It was 4 or 5 people just walking through the woods, headed down to look at something. And they're not wearing orange, but I was wearing, I had my orange on because I had a firearm. Hell, they're the ones that need it.
Yes.
I'm sitting there with a gun.
Exactly.
I'm just amazed at it. And that's somewhere I think a lot of work could be done. I don't know why at these cab meetings and stuff, more of that's not addressed, and maybe that's my fault because I'm not at them. We was going to that last one, and we're going to go to the next one if it's close. Because I know they're going to bring up turkeys at this next one. Of course, that's our passion,
but still, it takes.
It takes numbers, and you got to have. I mean, that was just like, who decided? And that's my question. I never got an answer. That it's okay to kill a spotted fawn. Who? I don't know of no big push by hunters to let us kill spotted fawns.
Like, how did that even get brought up?
Well, how did it get brought up? I want to meet the guy that made the motion or whoever, whatever, because I got on there before they cut off our commenting on their pages. And it was like, and that's what basically I was, who in the hell decided this was okay? Why is this okay?
That Chuck.
You know what my response? The response I got was, "What difference does it make?" I said, "Can you tell a buck fawn from a doe spotted fawn? You can't. Maybe by size if they're two of them standing there together." I said, "That's one reason. Give them at least that first year or the better part of the season to where you can tell, well, especially if they're twins, that little buck fawn, he's going to be much bigger than the doe." That was the stupid response. And that's why they cut off commenting, I think, because people like me and stuff would call them on the carpet about it.
Most of the stuff that signed off is that Chuck Sykes. He's over whatever, and the Blankenship guy.
Yep, Chris.
But who, like you said, brought that on?
I want to know who brought it up.
It ain't just them two.
But, I mean,
that's the names you see.
That board, and I know you got to be some doctor or lawyer. I don't know. Maybe there is an old common guy like one of the 4 of us in here that's on that board, but I don't think so. You got to have money, land, or be a big donator of some kind. I know. I tried to get on our HVAC state board for years. They don't want me on it. You know why? Because I speak my mind. And they don't like me. One of the guys that used to be on, he's dead now, but he would not. And they told me, you're not getting on it as long as he's there, because I called him to the carpet.
A little bit, and they said, you can't go against the grain.
Well, it's time to go against the grain on some of this. Now, I fully agree with our doe seasons and opening that up. We should have done that probably years before they did. I'm still not quite sure what the deal is with Jefferson County and their doe days, because I know around my dad's house there's more deer. There was plenty of deer when they made certain doe days, and there's even more now, and they're still limited it. I don't know what that. And maybe it's just his area. I don't hunt in Coleman that much, even though I live here, and I will have a green field behind my shop up there. But I mean, It's just certain doe days anyway.
I can understand Winston County. If you're going to do it for 3/4 of the county, why not do it for the whole county?
Wait a minute. And why
Nobody
make
understands
public
Winston
land
County.
hunters a different turkey season than a private land hunter? That is not fair.
Why can you not kill a doe on government land, but you can kill it on private land? Same time of
Well,
year.
I don't agree. If we're going to start bashing some of the
know what
stuff,
I mean?
I,
That's just-
I don't
Yeah, I
agree
mean,
with
It's a free state.
the state of Alabama having control over the national forest. I'm sorry. That should be treated just like private land as far as season wise. They shouldn't be able to go in there and tell me, since it's been 100 years that way up until they just got control over a while back, that I can't hunt turkeys after 1 o'clock on national forest. That's fine for the state management areas. They want to do that. They control that. That's fine. But you have just killed the working man that works and don't get off work till 3 o'clock, being able to go and
Go hunt.
find a public place to hunt. You can't hunt the management area. Now I can't hunt the national forest.
That funded all them to have the jobs they have to do that.
That's just, it was like this silly thing. And I know people, I'm a turkey hunter, and I hear these boys, they cried this past year. You know, this past season, turkey season didn't come in on Saturday. It came in like it always had years before. I can't believe it. You know, I'm going, well, what about the man that works Saturdays? Finally, the guy that, was working Tuesday or whenever when did it come in, a Wednesday or something?
Come in on Monday this time.
Was it? Yeah,
Monday this
I
time.
should know. I killed a turkey opening day, but anyway, that guy.
I missed one.
You killed a tree.
Well, yeah.
He's good at killing trees. He's killed trees in multiple states. So,
Let me tell you a little funny one. Since we got back on the turkeys, do you know how I practice when my turkey calls?
With
I
tame
race
turkeys.
with
You
tame
raise turkeys?
I got bourbon red turkeys, and I'll sit on my front porch. And the funniest thing though, my 5-year-old granddaughter comes into my little office. I got a pot call sitting right there. Never had in her life. She picks it up.
you want
Hey.
to hear a sweet call? Look at this one right here. Our buddy Chris makes these. Sweetest sounding call. No, you don't have to know nothing.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's so, I love it.
But my
I gotta
granddaughter
put
did
down. My
that.
wife will be up here going, what are you doing?
And I guarantee you, I had the biggest smile. It was just like it's natural. I mean, she could sit there. And
You
be
might want to
great.
start getting her in some youth competitions.
There's one coming up in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, yes.
They're going to have a post.
Matter of fact,
Really?
it may end up being too late tonight. We're running on 9 o'clock to get a hold. We got a girl that she's going to be our meeting 2 caller in this contest. And I don't know, when y'all were at the Mobile Hunters show, did y'all run into the Talk About It Outdoors? You see their booth and all?
The guy,
Good boys. They're good guys.
yeah,
Good guys. And they're right on the verge of really being big time. I'm talking about big time. They're already much bigger than me, us, y'all. I mean, they put their time in, and so they're good boys. Got a big archery shoot coming up.
Well, I seen him, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Then something come out on the internet when I come back, and I said, "Man, I was."
You want to
closest
know
we
how
are."
to meet one of their head honchos, Alex? Get you a T-shirt that's got a big face of Dave Owens on it.
Yeah,
He'll run up to you and put his arm around you. He might even kiss you on the cheek. I'm not sure. I know he'll listen to this. He's got a man crush on Dave Owens. He really
well, I
does.
messaged the one guy. I said I was close as we are, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was following your podcast, and I seen you in person. I didn't know who you was or whatever.
Well, I don't know if y'all, do you shoot a compound, or you still shooting a compound?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this archery tournament they have every year, it's a good time, and it's coming up the 10th of August.
We're going to be there for the weekend.
You can pre-register and stuff, so we'll be there for the weekend. Last year, Cruiser Saddles was there.
That's one of their big sponsors.
Where's that at?
It's in Waleska,
Georgia.
It's about 3
There's the other
hours.
side of Rome, Georgia, back over there.
But I mean, check it out. Get on their thing. Sign up. Go shoot.
Hey,
it's
they got a
hunter's
great
division.
course set up.
and it's hunters division, so there's no fancy stuff. It's just hunting bows. That's the setup.
Do you ever follow the do-it-yourself hunters?
Yeah.
You know, they're putting together a shoot and all. I don't think they've actually gave the actual date yet, have they? I don't know. Now we plan on actually going over there and just watching, because they're gonna have different scenarios, hunting scenarios and stuff like that. Now they're anywhere they're at, as far as, you know, what we go to, like they'll be at the World Deer Expo. They were at the Mobile Hunters.
Now, y'all will be there. You just walking around like we're going to be doing? Y'all got you a booth or anything set up?
Not this year. No, because like I said, our group grew so quick, but we want to do everything right. I mean, like I said, I'm not doing it for financial gain or anything like that. So I'm just taking my time. So Olivia Glasgow, she's coming on as a contributor for our group.
So when you say your group, do you have actual, like, are you talking about your group, like your Facebook group, or y'all have actual members? Because, I mean, we're getting into an hour. I want to dig a little deeper in before we get going. I mean, is there like I want to join your group, or is it just
Right now it's a Facebook group.
Right.
Okay. We're trying to keep, you know, it open for everybody. We got some things, like I said, coming in the future. Of course, you know, the legalities have to be worked out and so forth that. But we got stuff coming in the future. And the second half of 24 and into 25 will be a lot bigger for us and what we want to do, even from our Facebook group to our YouTube channel and stuff like that. So a lot of big things coming. We've done a lot of research well before the group was ever formally put together. We got some things coming out for the hunting industry.
And then Olivia's going to be a contributor
to our group and
public land. And if there's a female or a young girl that wants to go hunting, she's going to take her hunting.
Yeah, so we got a lot of
which is good. I mean, because sometimes that can be awkward, but you know, go to the bathroom or whatever you got to do. You know,
anything.
Girls, it's better women if you can now.
Hunting, we're going to take him hunting.
You know, and then you know, like I said, just like when my daughter started, she, you know, if there's a girl out there and she gets to go hunting, that may be just the right thing for her. And then,
and she killed a big buck on Bankhead public land by herself.
I mean, Olivia Glasgow, she's a deer and turkey slayer.
Yes, sir.
And she's getting better. She's constantly getting better.
So we asked her if she would. She agreed she would take somebody hunting, and
we're going to videotape some of her hunts and stuff. You know.
So now, how long have y'all been doing the YouTube? I know you didn't do it when y'all first started. Y'all were kind of building up to that.
It's basically been over a course of 2 or 3 months. Right now, we're just in the shorts. Like
I was going to say, you're just doing some clips
just
and that
doing
kind
some
of thing,
clips and stuff like that. Because like with my business, like with Chris's business, we're out, you know, in a lot of the rural areas a lot, you know. And so if I'm like over in Double Springs or something, and I might want to pull over and do a little scouting here or there or something like that. So that's, you know, we kind of started that just to see what kind of response, where a lot of people would sit there and go, all right, well, you got this one little video clip and it's only got 600 views. That's nothing. It's not nothing.
No, it's not nothing. I'm proud if I get 600 views on anything.
You see what I'm saying? But for us, it was like, well, hey.
We're leading up to when you're actually hunting.
You know, we had the guy with Alabama All Game on, and we don't have that many. Looking at the analytics and all of our podcasts, and we're across a bunch of platforms. I only basically look at Apple and Spotify. I don't go in there and dig it. It's just not that important to me. But I think the combination of people hearing him on the podcast, how we promoted it over our social media, he blew up here. Mm-hmm. I mean, Blount County, Coleman, Marshall County, he is just everywhere right now, and he couldn't believe it, which made me feel good because I'm sitting there going, well, I don't see but 60 people listen to this or whatever. Then I got to thinking, well, we got 1,000 that looked over on this platform, and I got 600 views on the little clip on TikTok that you know, we just started a TikTok. I paid more attention, and I know President Trump wouldn't like it, but I paid more attention to TikTok than I do YouTube. Although YouTube is a lot more strict. I mean, TikTok, we done got 2 strikes against us because we showed dead animals. Can't show a dead animal on TikTok. Just for anybody out there putting videos up,
show
you will get
hoo-ha.
that strike.
Yeah, you can show all that.
You
and
can
it's
show
fine.
up to the impact of an arrow going in, but you cannot show them dead. Now, you can show all kinds of fish and all that kind of stuff, which I don't understand. But anyway, I didn't even, maybe I should have read their terms a little closer, but you know how the terms are. It's that long and takes
Well,
5
they
days.
say you'd have to have.
I don't
your
want to
corporate
say
attorney.
much, but when of course, I started hunting now, it's about the numbers, and it got into the scores, which leads to the minerals. And I've tried all the minerals possible, this and that, and
From a commercial.
take it is as it is. So I got to researching for the past 9 years what I thought in my mind would be good. And then last year we gave it out to a bunch of people, and everybody said astronomical results, want more. And these people will criticize you, right?
Yeah, this and that's part of what I was telling you about what we got coming in the future. And this is, like I said, it has been working on it a lot longer than just the inception of the Facebook group. But we have a mineral that we will be putting out soon. We just want people to try it. We're going to send out some free samples. Ours is based a little bit different. It's real scientific.
We got a
But
attractant and a scent cover. Obviously, you can't cover your scent, but our scent will be cheaper than said, and it'll be the blue collar guy will buy it. And then attractant, well, obviously the mineral's not going to work through the winter. So
that's what we got kicked off going into 2025.
been looking into it, been studying it, and everybody's been critiquing it. And then I contacted the people who's got the biggest bucks in the pens. And I said, I need to ask you some questions, and I'm not a competitor, okay? I'm not trying to compete with you. And they finally got back to me 2 or 3 days later, and I told them my ideal, my theory. And they said, you are 100% right on your thinking. And anybody that buys anything on the shelf as of today is plumb crazy.
Yeah, exactly what Todd said. Todd he's not in stores.
And this guy has 2-year-old bucks. I can show you a picture right now on my phone. 300 inches.
Yeah.
1-year-old is 180 inches.
I've done one high fence hunt, and I mean the guy told me basically if they can't make 200 a year and a half, they're cool deer.
Culls.
And I'm like, oh, geez.
Please turn those loose.
Yes.
Let them escape.
Yes.
That's this year,
Well, and like I said, but
July
like
3rd.
I told you, of how slow we're going with everything because we want it to be right when it happens. Like I said, second half of 24, 25,
That's
a lot of people will know our name. I mean, we got a lot of things coming, but we're just wanting to do it right. We're just, like I said, and it's to benefit the hunters. It's to benefit the deer. I mean, it's mutual. You know, it's not to give the hunter the advantage or what have you. It's for everybody.
Well, y'all are doing it kind of like we're doing it. We're not doing this to make money. We're self-funded.
Right.
We don't sell merchandise, although we might down the road. I've got a year or 2 left, and I'm done. I'd quit today if I could quit. I'm just be honest with you. I'm burnt out. I've been doing this since 1985. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the grind. I'm tired. If my son could run it, he'd have it. He's got a ways to go. He's just got a ways to go. And I'll either put a lock on the door and have an auction, but in 2 years, I'm done.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. Somebody's going to have to run it, or somebody's going to have to buy it, or it's going to get just closed down and move on. I mean, that's just the way I am. I'm done. And then I can turn more attention. I could turn more attention to this. I don't have time. You know how it is. Well, plumbing's almost year round. It's a constant, right. But in the summer for me, that's our bread and butter from basically May until September.
Right.
That's when we make most of our money. I say that commercial accounts, and we're a lot bigger commercial than when I bought this little company. I was a part owner in a huge mechanical company, and we sold it in 2010, I think. Whenever the crash happened, my partner he was ready to get out, and we already owned this little residential company. But anyway, once all that happens in a year or two, I can turn more attention to this because baby boy over here, he's got a ways to go before he can quit. Unless he hits the lottery, then I hope he remembers me. Mm-hmm. But I could turn more attention. I could be sitting right here at the house on the computer doing more social media. And you know, social media is all about content.
Exactly.
You got to do something. I got on, I don't know if you've been on the turkey page today. Did you see I stirred up a little talk? Yeah. What do y'all do for your turkeys during the summer? Mm-hmm. All kinds of, just to get it going, because the only thing been happening on it is, hey, we got 5 hunts left book, for your Merriam hunt or whatever. I done got, I get a lot of complaints about we don't charge nobody. It's just got to be turkey related. At one time, I didn't even care.
Right. But
I'm not selling used cars or knives or especially guns and ammo. You get booted. It's just, you're gone.
Gone. Mm-hmm.
It's an automatic gone. And now I've started using the warning, so I know how many times I've gave a guy a warning about posting more than his ad once a month. You get once a month. So now I can keep up with that. And I don't care no more. Like I said, we got 20,000 people. I don't care if I boot 100 of them off of it. So you don't even get a warning. I might tell him, this is your second one. There's no more. Make a little message to him. And then he's just gone. And they're blocked and they're forever gone. Between that, and I don't know if you guys have run into it, but the Asians and all these
yes, absolutely,
film, that puts these stupid little films and stuff up. It's a constant battle keeping them out.
That's part of my early morning routine.
That's it.
I
Yeah,
get on
I
there,
do. That's the first thing I do at work. I go, and it's helped. But when Dustin, when he's not busy too, he sees. But for my first, I guess was probably at 12, 14,000 when you came into it. Mm-hmm. I was doing it by myself. And it's a job. And then you'll be hearing people complaining to me about, I don't want to see no ads, or I don't like what this guy said. Well, the guy didn't say anything wrong. He just said something you don't agree with. Right. Now, if they say something wrong, I don't put up with dogging another hunter over what they killed or a smart aleck. Yeah. A lot of these young guys.
Talked about.
Listen, there used to be a forum back in the day called aldeer.com.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was full of nothing but smart asses. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even post something on it. You'd have somebody would just ask a simple question. He'd get berated. I mean, just pounded. Mm-hmm. Well, now that's gone, basically. Those same people moved to whatever, the North Alabama Deer Hunters or AL Deer, whatever.
Right.
That's the Facebook page. And those same kind of guys they try to move in on me. We got people, though, from all over the United States and a lot of different countries that are serious about wanting to know what's going on in Alabama. And it's not just limited to Alabama. If you're going to Kansas, hey, tell us about it. People might not know how to get out there, but you'll have people dog them. I'm not a rich man. Well, you got to be a rich man. All you got to have is a tank of gas and get to Kansas. There's plenty of walk-in land and buy a license. Well, now it's a draw in Kansas, but Nebraska's the same way. I didn't know anything about this.
Well, see, and that's one thing we've told the people in our group.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to be from Alabama. But if you are from Alabama and you go out Midwest to go hunting, you kill something, show it to us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing we say. And listen, I'm not going to put up, if it was Dustin, go, well, you rich SOB, you're going out there killing deer and you're just about, you know what? You don't even get a warning.
Yeah, you're gone.
You're gone. Because I've threw people off that's actually messaged me later like, what did I do? And I'll have to go back and think, well, I threw about 25 of y'all off in the last couple of days. I don't even know who you are. But
well, you'll see people put a post on there asking a question, a legit question.
And
they don't, the guy that's commented that shouldn't have made that comment, he hasn't looked at profile. That profile is a 14, 15-year-old kid that's trying to learn how to hunt.
Yeah.
Or even if it's a 20-year-old.
Or was proud of his Jake he killed.
Right.
And it don't even matter if he's I don't care if you're 45 years old or 60 years old. If you never killed a turkey, it's legal in the state of Alabama to kill jakes. I personally, have I killed them? Hell yes, I've killed them. I have. And let me tell you what, if I hadn't shot a turkey all year long and the last day of the season, a jake walked by and I want to eat, he's down. Now, will I do it all the time? Every time a jake walks by? No. They're like a spike. They're dumb. They're easy to call in. You can call them in 12 at a time if they're 12 in a pack. But you're not going to, I don't even care if this guy's posted 7 nice gobblers and then he posts one of a jake. If somebody dogs him, they're out. It was legal. Well, I shouldn't say 5. It'd be over the limit. But, I mean, not if you travel Tennessee and Alabama and everywhere else. So, that's just the way it is. I'm not putting up with it just like you. I mean.
No, I will not do that.
We're hunters. There's enough people out there trying to get us. We shouldn't be getting ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, that's just like with the more famous podcasters and stuff like that. We listen to what they say. We listen to their guests, what they say. Then we think about it, and we draw our own conclusion, and that's what we go with. There's some that's real popular out there that you couldn't pay me to sit there and listen to anymore. And then you got some that's they're big, a lot bigger than we are, but they're not the big boys, as I would put it. And I'll sit there and just listen to them. I
would much rather sit and listen to a podcast similar to what we just had here tonight. And I know you were brought in here for what you guys are doing. We've talked about a little bit of everything. Than to listen to, I don't know,
You got to hunt this feed tree.
Yeah, whatever.
The acorns are going to stop dropping by the rut.
Hey, I've hunted the Midwest. I've deer hunted. He has. I'm sure you probably have. I don't know if you have or not. But let me tell you something. In my opinion, I don't hunt it all the time. That's easy deer hunting up there for the most part. I mean, when you ain't got nothing but 500-acre fields of corn and strips of trees, hell yes, it's easy that the wind was out of the north, so I approached from the south. Where I hunt, you can't do that. No. You've got to go in the only way you can get in. Or, I shot the deer and I tracked it for 300 yards. Yeah, you were in the snow. It's pretty easy to track a blood trail in the snow. Try it in the pine straw, big boy. Exactly.
Our early bow season when them little red leaves, them green.
You know
leaves
how many times I pick them up, lick my hand, and go, "Oh, that ain't blood."
Yeah.
So, and I'm not dogging that's where those people live and hunt, but that's not the way everybody hunts. Or I wish I could hunt that way.
If you get an
easier.
Oh yeah.
If you get an opportunity, you definitely don't pass it up. You're looking at a 1.5-year old 6-point, and he's well over 150 pounds. It's just insane. The does are huge. It's really
that's right. I would video when I hunted Pike County a few years, and I hunted down here in South Illinois a couple of years, and I'd show my brother pictures of beautiful 8 points. Why didn't you shoot that deer? I said, that's a 1.5-year old, 2-year-old deer. When you kill a doe and it's 160 pounds, and some of the finest eating deer you'll ever eat, because they ain't never eaten them but soybeans and corn, a few acorns mixed in, but you can judge them deer. You learn after a little while. I was very nervous first time I went up there because I'd never seen really big deer that was young, and I sure didn't want to get that fine put on me, because they were real. I passed a 13-point deer up one time because I knew he wasn't but 2.5 years old. Because he's thin horn, but he was going to be a man in a couple of years, and I had pictures of him, and my brother was just like, I can't believe it. I said, you just don't understand. I would have got reamed over that deer by those guys. But yes, the wind's out of one direction. I can come in from the other direction, and those guys already have different stands anyway for the different winds.
There's 10 acres of woods, and you got 2,000 acres of
You don't need but the right 10 acres, do you?
That's right.
I had a place in Kentucky that recently just sold 50 acres, just hay fields. but it was the right 50 acres, surrounded by agriculture up in Kentucky. Monster deer. I never got to deer hunt. The guy wouldn't let me deer hunt it, but I got to go up there and turkey hunt. Same way with the turkeys. Turkeys everywhere. Couldn't believe it when I was up there how many turkeys they had, but it was just the right. That's all you needed. And if it had been cut in half, it'd have been the right 25 acres or right 20 acres. It's just amazing. They sold that I found out today it's 48 acres sold for $310,000.
So he got it.
He says he got it. We'll see. He could be lying. I'm not going to say the old boy's a good old boy. And that could be life-changing for him. His family land, I can't believe he sold it. He was born on right there. But, he's nearly 70. He deer hunted. He didn't turkey. He didn't care nothing about turkeys. That's what I loved about him. It was just come up here, you don't get but 2.
Right.
I don't care if you shoot 12, Yeah. No, I shoot 1 and I leave. I never kill more than 1. Killed one of my most beautiful turkeys there. It looked like a Merriam. White tipped. People actually say, is that a Merriam? No. I wish I'd have mounted the thing now. But anyway, we're running on an hour and a half. Why don't y'all? What have you've not told us about your group that we need to know and where people need to go to find you guys? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you got, and just.
Well, we've pretty much covered everything and of what we've got now, what we've got planned on for the future. We'd like for people to check us out. It's North Alabama Outdoor Sportsmen. We're on YouTube, we're on X, we're on Facebook. And like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming in the future, so just hang in there with us. And I appreciate you guys having us on. This has been a great time.
We want you back.
Well, we want to.
We don't have very many people want to come back,
hey,
but
listen.
We'll be here for 3 hours next time.
I'm no Dustin.
We'll do a
Dustin for
two-parter.
while, and
We've never had a 2-part one.
We've talked before y'all even started. We talked about doing this, and I wanted to come see your setup for something for us maybe in the future. So of course saw y'all at the NWTF, for a little bit. Of course that was chaotic. It was a great time.
My God, there was a lot of people there, wasn't there?
And stuff. I'm sure I'll probably see you next weekend at the World Deer Expo or something like that.
We'll be around somewhere out in there.
But yeah, we'll definitely do it again. Like I said, we follow your podcast. As soon as it pops up, we share it on our page. Hopefully that's got you some more followers.
I hope so.
Group.
We don't got but 6, but
I know.
And 4 of us are sitting here, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said that there's some things coming now. Is there going to be a website coming as well, with product and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we got a website actually being built at this time. Once again, legalities, putting everything, getting it all put together. We have a designer working on that as we speak.
Well, there's tax implications. There are all kinds of.
And I've got one business.
And that's why I told him right now. That's exactly what I told him. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle. He runs a business. I run a business. Mm-hmm. I don't want another business right now. I just don't. I'm tired of paying taxes.
It's going to be
tired of putting up with it.
It's going to be a while before Meeting Two's got a tax ID number. We'll put it to you like that.
A couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
Once I'm out of it.
Yeah.
And I have time just to sit around.
Well, and like I said,
Let's go, Brandon.
There you go.
Our big thing for like our merchandise and stuff like that, that's to generate the funds. Because like I said, we will do giveaways. I mean, we put that out there to our guys or women, guys in all the group. If we did some kind of fishing type giveaway or hunting giveaway, would you be for it? And the vast majority that voted said they would. So that's the things. And then, like I said, the youth hunt. I'm just real big on about the kids. Let's do. We can do more.
Well, if there's something we can help you with, if you need somebody to go sit in the stand with one or shoot house,
if you need a
spot,
you need a piece of property, let me know.
Yeah.
I've got a place locally that I'd be more than glad. It's got a brand new 6x6 shooting house, handrails, back porch that you could get a kid in and out really easy.
We'll see that, and we appreciate that offer. And that's what we need to do, especially us smaller ones. Work together, not against each other.
No, that's one of the things we've discovered starting this with the Talk About It Outdoor guys. Good as gold. Ask them any question. You were talking to the part-time hunter. He kind of got us on all of this, told us what we needed on this kind of thing and how to get in there. We knew nothing. I've never seen this before. I didn't have a clue how to get it out of here onto a computer and out to the internet and then be distributed. We learned all that, sat here till 1 o'clock one morning nearly, you know, just after we did our very first one. Everybody's been so good. Even, you know, as far as even the big boys, it's full of dirt.
This doesn't seem as this isn't as like competitive.
No, I don't
everybody's
think so.
been more helpful than hurtful. I mean, we've become such good friends with Talk About It Outdoors. I mean, they've been great, and they don't mind to give us feedback, which we'll give
I
them
want feedback
as
yeah,
well.
Don't do that again, guys, or y'all need to do this or add this to it. Matter of fact, we should talk a recipe. That's what we're supposed to do, but we're already an hour and a half.
And I sent you one, but we'll get to it next week then.
So put some butter on bread and throw it in the oven. Makes you some toast.
What about the smoked bologna?
Smoked bologna was really good. Still got some in there.
Take the back strap, slice it about a 1/4 inch thick all the way down. Put you a slice of onion in there. Marinate it wet and dry, however you want. Put bacon on top. Right before it's done, put you a can of cream mushroom.
There you go.
That's our
You put it on top
winner.
your head, your tongue will beat your brain
And
out
that's
trying to get
easy.
to it.
It's easy. It's quick. Everybody's got cream mushroom soup. I guarantee I got 5 cans in there right now.
But,
And if you can wrap it in bacon, it's even better.
oh yeah.
But
So,
bacon makes everything good.
but like I said, we appreciate y'all inviting us on.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed talking to y'all, and definitely we'll do it in the future.
Well, good deal. We appreciate having you. We'll definitely have you back. Well, I mean, maybe once we get closer into deer season or into deer season, and once things are happening, y'all got more things coming down the pike. We want to get out there to people.
We'll be at the Deer and Turkey Expo next weekend, and then following that, well, actually it'll be 2 weeks from that, August 3rd, I think, is a calling competition at Woods and Water in Tuscaloosa. We're going to that.
We're going to be there.
And
We're
then-
not calling, but one of our, I call her a team member now.
One of our pro staff.
Pro staff. Even though we don't have nothing to be pro staff over.
That younger? Is it that younger?
Well, Alex ain't supposed to know that. I don't care if they finish second to last and last, as long as she's second to last over Alex. And I love Alex. Now, and I just give him a hard time. He knows I'm kidding.
And speaking of that, good luck this weekend, boys.
Yes, they're down in Louisiana at the World
Calling
competition. And then we'll be August 10th. And
We'll talk about it outdoors in Alaska.
at their bow hunt, our bow shoot. And if y'all ain't got nothing to do, just come up there and walk around. Spend the day. You don't have to shoot. We went up there just to hang out. Now, we ended up running and buying water for them and getting water and hot hamburger buns and stuff like that.
Just to help out. And this time we're gonna help out.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little
Me and
bit
Alex
more.
have been talking, and we're
sponsoring a Target and that kind of thing. So
Well, that's good, and like I said, you're making connections.
yeah,
You're
that's all this is
networking.
about is connections.
Exactly.
You know,
networking.
It is. It really is. This is one thing I've learned about, and we'll get out of here quick, but I've learned about podcasts. Podcasts interview podcasters. If you notice, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen not just hunting podcasts like Fistful of Dirt or whatever, but the Mike Rose of the world, that kind of thing. He'll have a guy on, and 5 minutes in, you just found out he was on their podcast a week ago. All they do is just flip-flop around, you know. So it's all network. He's on that one, and that guy heard him, so he's on that one, and then he's back on that one, and that's all it's about. And as long as it's interesting and you get something out of it, I have no issues with it.
No.
Nobody likes to listen to just me and him talk. I don't know why. We're so interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go get on out of here. You got anything else? The deer show coming up next weekend, the World Deer Expo in Birmingham. If you're not there, you're missing it.
Yep.
A lot of information. I don't buy a whole lot of stuff anymore, but it's good to visit and catch up with people. I'm sure we'll see Eddie Salter there. We'll see Mark Brenner there. There'll be a lot of people. The Legacy Outdoor, William will be there. So we're looking forward to it.
And we'll see Michael and Kathy Perry Olivia Glasgow will be there.
Yeah.
The Southern Outdoorsmen,
Do-it-yourself hunters.
the Do-It-Yourself Hunters.
They said
So,
you go up to the second
we
floor.
might all have to just team up and walk around, and so we can meet some of these people that y'all know really well.
They said you go to the second floor, and it just if a pinch point, it just leads to them. You're gonna get.
I guess you're headed toward the escalators or whatever.
Yeah.
So
where they're at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, we'll see y'all down
Yes, we'll
there,
be there.
and we'll meet up and talk
Yeah.
to some of them. Like I said, you talking about some great people.
Good deal.
We've really enjoyed it. It's been a blast, and I tell you, there's a couple of them. I'll show you one when we're down there, and let him show you his turkey call. And
Okay.
that's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
We'll see that at the World Deer Expo.
Good deal. Good
Thanks,
deal.
everybody.
All right. Well, we're out here tonight. We'll get this thing up. Hope everybody enjoys it, and we'll see you next week.